y'all? Welcome back to episode 259 of More Than the Title. I'm your host, as usual, and founder of More Than the Title, Jarrett Thomas, and Chief Revenue Officer at Outside the Box Digital. And you know, as usual, man, we got a great episode lined up for y'all. 2026 has been crazy. Shout out to everybody who's been rocking with us, straight up. Shout out to all the people on LinkedIn, Twitch, Instagram. Shout out to Facebook, everybody, all the outreach, all the positivity, the positive messages, man. I really appreciate y'all, man, because doing this entrepreneurial thing, man, is a roller coaster, y'all. It's a effing roller coaster, man. You're going to have good days, bad days, okay days, everything in between, man. But it's really about the mindset and the hustle. And then you guys sending these messages really keep a brother going, man. So I just want to say thank y'all from the bottom of my heart, straight up for rocking with us and doing what we do. And we're going to have a great episode as always, you know what I'm saying? And like how we normally start, first of all, I'm grateful and thankful to be here. But I also want to do the quote for the folks, man. And this one's kind of hit home for me. I know it straight up. So I'm going to just give y'all a real one, y'all. One lesson I learned in the journey, don't give anybody an opportunity they didn't ask for. And I'm going to just repeat that one more time, y'all. Do not give anyone an opportunity they did not ask for. And it's not because you don't want to help, man. You know how we are in the community. I want to help my boy. I want to help some of my peoples. I want to make sure we all eat. But at the same time, if they're not ready to carry it, only thing it could do is damage you. When someone asks, there's intention behind it, there's ownership, there's an effort. And a lot of times we exhaust ourselves opening doors for people who were never prepared to walk through them. So remember that, y'all. Opportunities hit differently when they're requested, not forced. And always keep that in mind when you're growing and scaling your business, y'all, straight up and down. So, you know, with that, y'all, first I got to give myself a message. Right now, you know what I'm saying? But we got a great episode lined up. Let me introduce my brother real quick. So let's get into it.
Let's start the show.
The proper introduction, man, I just want to say and give a kudos to this brother, man. So his brother was actually our 250th episode. Shout out to Tavio, man. Shout out to the family. But this brother reached out to us, stayed in tune. He watched the episode, told us he was proud of us, you know, and it was just good energy. It was good outreach, good energy, man. And, you know, he said, yo, can I be on the show? I said, shit, when you want to do it? Here we are today, man. And so I'm honored with that. So you already know what it is, y'all. If this is your first time watching, you already know, welcome to More Than the Title. If it's your second time, welcome back. And you know what it is. This is the podcast where we go beyond the name, beyond the resume, and the real story behind the success. Today's guest is someone who truly embodies purpose, resilience, and intentional leadership. You know what I'm saying? He's also known as PD, the King Architect. He's a speaker, a mentor, executive director, and he serves as the face of the Boyz II Men Foundation, where his work is shaping the next generation of leaders from the inside out. Built by fire and backed by faith, this brother's journey began with a traumatic brain injury at the age of 3 years old, an experience that could define his limits, but instead ignited his calling. So today he's ready. He's dedicated to equipping young men with identity, emotional intelligence, and the tools for resilient leadership, because manhood is intentional, legacy is built, kings are born, aren't born, they are built. So let's introduce my brother, Michael PD Samuels, y'all. Yeah.
Man, thank you. Thank you so very much. That welcoming in itself, you know, I'm almost ready to just say, okay, we're done.
You want to get celebrated here, baby, because we celebrate our own here, bro. But I would love to start. I ain't gonna hold you, man. I know people heard the intro just now. A traumatic brain injury at 3 years old, bro. What was that about? But can we start there if you don't mind?
Yeah. I got hit in the head with a bat when I was 3 years old. I went, and I'll make it short, I went all my life, you know, with that injury, not knowing why or how I was going to operate or why things were the way that they were. When I was 48 years old, I found out from my neurologist that I actually had a lesion on my left temporal lobe. And so the left temporal lobe, as most people know, I call it like the CPU to the brain for each person, but it controls your emotional regulation. It controls your memory. And those were things that I battled with so much back when I was growing up, through my young adult years, to my teenage years, to my childhood years, but I didn't know why or how it was happening. All I knew is that it was happening.
That's tough right there, though, bro. Like, so at 3 years, you got hit with the bat. Did they diagnose you with anything early then? Like nothing, like regular?
No, I started having seizures when I was about 16 years old, and all the doctors could say was, well, it might be because of the injury. and they couldn't really break it down or tell me why I was dealing with what I was dealing with at all. And
Wow.
um, so it was a struggle. But when I became 48, I think everything became clear. And that's about when I began to put Boys to Men as a foundation together. I had always mentored or talked to young men in the process. I just never put it all together.
That's crazy, bro. Do you mind telling the story of how that happened? Like, you don't think of a bat. I'm like 3 years old. Was it a wiffle ball bat? Was it what? Was it a Louisville Slugger? Like, what the hell is it?
It was a regular baseball bat. From what I understand, is my cousins I just wanted to play. I wanted to be one of the big boys, you know. They were all playing baseball, and I didn't want to be left out. I wanted to be one of the big boys. My mom says, "Why did y'all let a little 3-year-old play baseball with you?" And I guess I was playing the catcher. I was too close, and he just came back and bam, and it took me out.
Wow, bro. Wow, man. Damn, man. And I want to transition to how it affected
Okay.
you. But after that, tell us about growing up. What was life growing up? Mama Dukes, pops. Like, what was some of your early influences, bro?
I grew up like a normal kid. I grew up regular. I just had my struggles. Emotionally, I had my struggles, but you couldn't tell until I actually said something to you. I learned how to, according to my mom, I learned how to talk when I was probably about 1 years old. And
Mm,
so all of this, I was a very intelligent young man. And so as I got into my adult years, I became a very high functioning individual. Um, I just couldn't put it all together on why like the dyslexia came into play when I was in school, why I couldn't learn like other people learned when I was in school, why I struggled the way that I struggled, or why my emotions were, why I stressed out so much. Now this is a language that I learned later on because I couldn't really explain it then. I mean, you when you were a kid, I mean, we just were like, why? Why
going,
is this happening?
just going, bro. So you had this, like, you had to learn the disability, and you're figuring it out. But what is one thing that helped you keep going? I mean, that's something that we got to talk about in the community and the culture, right? We hold so much shit in, and we really don't know how to even express ourselves. You already know we're men. I got to be hard. I'm this, that, boom, boom. I can't really tell you what it is. So how did you navigate that? What some advice would you give to others too?
My basis of life has always been my faith. And so even when I was struggling or couldn't get past something, I mean, I was very frustrated for a while, but I always stood on the fact that God has something more for me. And if I woke up that morning, that means there's something more for me to do. That
Mm.
he has something else for me. I
That,
stood on that.
that's real, bro. But that's something we definitely gotta unpack, bro. Like, so because in the tagline we said kings aren't born,
They're
they're built,
born, they're
right?
built.
But you also have that instinct in your mind to be like, I know I'm gonna be different. I
Mhm.
know I'm gonna be different. I know I'm him. We have a saying on the show is like, yo, you got to choose to be him. You know what I mean? You have to choose to be him. You could be born a certain way, but you have to choose to wake up in the morning, go through the process, go through the
Yeah.
obstacles, go through all of that stuff, bro. So like what helped? What were some things that helped frame your mindset in that way?
I think the most of it that framed it was more or less when I was 48 and I identified the injury on my brain, that I actually literally had a lesion on my left temporal lobe, because it was then that I started doing the brain dive and I started doing the neurological dive, and that language became clear. I really began to understand why my injury affected me in my past and how it was going to influence me in my future. And because of that, I was able to frame it with also my faith and the other things that I had read, and realize that I'm not broken, I'm modified. And God designed it that way for me to be that way, so I could become the influence, or let's even say the father figure that's needed today in today's generation.
Message. Not broken. I was just modified. I ain't gonna like that. That's a good. That's fire right there, bro. So but damn, and you also said something else. You said you were 48, bro. You look like you're 34, like you're 35.
I am 51 now.
God bless, bro. God bless, man. So, but all right, I don't want to go too far into like what made you go into that first. I still want to know some of the early influences. Like, so
Okay.
going through this, like, we're in high school, you figuring like or school, you're figuring out like, all right, cool, I'm learning differently, da da da. What was the dream for you then?
My dream, to be honest with you, in high school at that point was, I remember a conversation with my mom. I was driving to school and my mom was like, God's telling me you're going to be a pastor. I said, I don't want to be no broke down pastor. I want to be the CEO of a big company. You know,
Your pastors are getting money now.
they are. And I'm actually ordained, but I understand that you have to know your mission and your assignment on what God's really trying to call you to do in order to actually attain what's out there for you. The way I'll put it is you have to be missional in order to get the resources. Because you know, the Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and everything else will be added. But if you're not mission focused, then what's the point of the resources?
Message. But then how does one find the mission that they're supposed to be on? Because that's something that's we talk about a lot on the show, bro. We talk about a lot.
Yeah.
He said, one of my men said it, and shout out to bro. He's like, yo, your purpose is your GPS.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to follow that. Like when you know your mission is this, your calling is this. Like we're so creative as a community. It's hard to latch onto what is the actual mission. So like, what is some advice, or how did you find what was the actual mission, bro?
I always knew that I had a heart for identity, but it's a journey. You know, it's a journey. I didn't have complete focus of the mission until later on in life, and I think we have to understand that. You know, I had a lot of dreams, a lot of ideas, a lot of visions. Putting things together. I mean, ask my brother. We've talked about them, you know, and I've had these businesses, put them together, but it's a journey. You have to fail in order to succeed eventually. And I think that it's that whole process, that whole concept of going through the fire, kind of like a cake. You know, the cake has to go through the fire in order to be cooked completely, like a good steak has to be cooked properly. I mean, I don't know if you want a medium well, but in order to get the flavor, in order to get that flavor, it has to be cooked properly. You know what I'm saying? So your identity is your GPS. Your identity is your foundation, and it has to be the same concept in order to get to who you're supposed to be, your mission and your assignment.
That's real, bro. And are you the older brother or the younger brother? You're the older brother?
I'm the older brother.
You're the older brother. So I'm curious. I'm going to ask you some real shit because I'm the younger brother, right? My brother is older than me, right? And I can tell you some of the best game I got from him. I want to know, what's the best game you gave to your brother and what's the best game he gave you?
You know, I'm not sure what I gave my brother. Probably the fact of just being consistent in life. Regardless of what's happening, to always be able to succeed and move forward in life. I mean, I've been married for 21 years now. And so I've been able to show my brother, you know, if anything, through trials and tribulations, that you still stand. Now, for my brother's factor or faith, I always say, you know, hey, I want to be like you when I grow up. Because I see so much of what I want in him, you know, but I had to wait. God had me wait to become who I am today.
Yo, bro, and I'm going to tell you, as being a younger brother, and I'm pretty sure your brother will feel the same way, he is who he is because of who you are, bro. Had you veered left, had you veered right, like when I was growing up, bro, my brother was my hero. Pops too, but Pops was working 2 jobs, so I didn't see him. By the time he came home at 12 o'clock at night, I see him when I'm getting ready for school. I don't understand.
Okay.
You know what I'm trying to say? I don't understand. He's working fucking 13-hour, 14-hour days to put me through private school. I don't understand that. But what I do see is my brother playing the game, my brother trying to rap, my brother playing on the varsity basketball team. He scored 20 points. I want to score 27. I don't give a fuck what. I just want to outdo him, bro. So, but if he would have been a drug dealer, I would have wanted to be the biggest drug dealer.
Big drug,
he wanted to do that. I'd have did anything that he would have did. And I credit a lot of who I am today because of how he was, bro. He went the right way. He didn't cut corners. He ain't do none of that. Went to college, got his master's, did everything, bro. Teaching right now, teaching the championship in New York City, like all that stuff, bro. And it made me be like, yo, damn, I can't do anything fair from that, bro. That's excellent.
Respect.
So for you,
Respect.
brother, You definitely, I guarantee bro was here right now. He's like, yo, he was the real. He did this, It was one thing that stood out. You know what I'm saying? So that's absolutely real, bro. And then you also mentioned the business, right? You going through failure. What was one of the earliest failures, and what was the lessons you learned, bro? Like, what business did you start up at all? Like, what was the business? I gotta know.
I actually tried to start up a consulting mentoring business. That's one of the first ones. And I just never had the success that I wanted. It never took off like I wanted or needed it to. Um, I struggled a lot with that, but yet tried to keep it alive because yet I also knew that, okay, God, this is what you said. This is what I know. And I tried to keep it alive. But within that, I mean, as my first book as an author, it was a flop, So we take those as our failures and our frustrations. And I have to thank you because you said something about those failures, and he's looking at them and how if your brother was a drug dealer, you'd want to be a bigger one.
Come on.
And so that means so much to me in the fact that realizing that my failures were someone else's successes. I mean, I know that now, but to have someone else say that to me means a lot today.
Message.
You went through the fire. You have to go through it. Somebody has to go through it.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody has to go through it, bro. We actually talking about it last night. I was talking to my baby. So we had somebody on called Will Klassen. I don't know if you heard of him. If you know this, so, but I'll send it to you. Will Klassen, his father was Macho Klassen, right? His father actually died. He's a professional boxer, died in the ring. He's actually the reason why he touch gloves and have medical next ringside.
Okay.
So imagine something like that, right? Like working life to be that person that actually changed the world, but not be able to see it through. You didn't see the success of the business, right? But look what your brother's doing. Look what you're doing. Look what you're doing as a collective. Look what you're doing now. You know what I'm saying? You had to go through that shit. If you did anything different, you would not be the person you are today, bro. So like, it's not a flop. So when you said the book, what stood to me, you said it was a flop. Like, what considers a flop? You put in the works. How many people said they want to put a book out and never put a book out? That's a win.
That's true too. That's true too. But it didn't. Like I said, I mean, our idea of seeing failure is also our idea of success. And if I put that, in the way that I see it, is we see success in a particular way. I think we needed to reframe what success really means to us. We need to reframe what is a failure. And I'm reframing everything now and re-understanding that, I had to go through the fire in order to be where I am today. And one of my best quotes that I love is that if God hasn't pulled you out of the fire, it means he's getting in there with you.
Message.
Damn, I'm about to give you another one. Hold
Message.
Hold on, I had to let that marinate for a second. Nah, that was real, bro. That was real. So, but tell us about the book. Tell us about the process. Like, tell us about all that, bro. Because I want to know about these lessons. Because one thing I don't do, bro, I hate the word failure.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta just reprogram my mind. It's not a failure, bro. I started it. So it's like you said, how we define success. I'm not a 6-figure podcast, but I could walk outside and be like, yo, I got impact.
Mm-hmm.
Like you reaching out. There's so many people around the world that's reaching out and say, I love the show. I love what the meaning behind it. I love this and all that. And we're fighting against it. We're going upstream. To talk positive to our community specifically, when we could be doing the clickbait, we could be fine. I could go snuff them off go viral.
Yeah.
Go viral, change my whole life.
See, that's how we rate success. For instance, I remember I was going to a meeting in Atlanta and I had an Uber picking me up at my brother's house in Atlanta. And the Uber driver that picked me up, she said, man, when you came out, I saw the house. I thought you was going to be like a artist or a ball player or something. I'm like, and so I did a live actually about it. Why do we have to be an artist or a ball player just because we Black? Because in Uber, they can see your picture. I'm like, why can't I just be, a successful Black man, that works for his own, that got his own, that's there now. And that's because the world has shaped us to understand what success is to us, that Black men can only be ball players or they can be, this. They don't see people like me and you in that space. They don't see people like my brother in that space where we're successful or, well off. In that case, we have to be a drug dealer in order to be well off. And
Come on, bro.
that's not true. So we need to change the narrative. We need to reframe it and change the narrative so young men do see people like me and you and Datav that are successful, that are making it, not playing basketball or rapping.
That's real shit, bro. But that's also a reason why we started this, bro. Like how I can go outside right now, bro. Let me ask who's the CEO of Revolt. You know that Matt, how many people gonna say Diddy?
Mm-hmm.
Just keeping it a beansky, bro. Like keeping it a beansky. And that's what I want. That's why I want to have successful black executives, celebrities, entrepreneurs, athletes on the show. People say you got to stick to one vertical. No, we do so much shit. But we also have to know that we are running this culture, bro. We are running the business. We're about to have the CMO of Saucony on in 2 weeks.
We do it all.
We do it all. But they got to see the shit. And they got to be real, get it real. But like, yo, you know what? I went to college for 10 fucking years and it was really tough. And, this one passed away. I lost this relationship. I was going through a divorce. I was going through this and going through that. And I still did the shit.
And see.
That's what I want the people to really hear, B. Because we got to work twice as hard. You know that. That's right off the rip. We got to work twice as hard. We got to be able to do all that, but be able to. I said something to somebody over the weekend, bro, and I was a young dude. He had a song. It was a performance, bro, but he got talent. And I just told him, bro, I'm like, it's never the talent in our community, bro. It's always the process.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
It's never the talent. It's always the process. Are you going to go through the bullshit? Are you going to quit your job and go all in before you ball? And you got to be all in. Are you going to do it? And a lot of us quick, rich, fame, and all that shit, and it just doesn't happen, y'all. So that's why I want to have brothers like you on, brothers like your brother, people like Joy and Paxton and all that, bro. Like for real. So like for you, bro, like I'm curious, what were some of those influences? What was growing up like? Like what was some early influences? Because I know same thing. Like I was influenced by the Hustlers. I was influenced by my brother. I was influenced by people, bro. Like so, what made you just like, yo, I'm doing this. I'm going to straight and narrow.
Just the fact that I never really wanted to go the other way. I saw it, but I never really wanted that to be me. And I think because I saw so many, maybe was it movies or, things going the wrong way with people, or I never really wanted to have to risk it all to get there, if that makes sense. Like, being that drug dealer and have to worry about 5-0, pulling up and taking me downtown and having to go through life to do that. But now I realize outside of it, that just wasn't God's plan for my life. My plan was where I'm at, how I'm doing, and where I'm going today. But think about it. If I did have that, at the same time, I couldn't be where I am because I couldn't be in the same space. I couldn't be the face of Boyz II Men. Now, I do have people that talk with me that, have been in prison or out of prison and doing that. But as the face, I mean, there's certain things that just have to stay clean. I realize all this now, but I didn't back then.
Damn, bro. Then what was there one specific moment that made you say, I have to do the Boyz II Men Foundation? What was the one moment for you that made everything clear? And, it's always that one. There's something that
Yeah. No, after I did all that brain diving and neurological brain diving to see how it affected me, I realized even more than I had already known that young men just didn't have the foundational fortitude to become the leaders that are needed today. I'd watch young men, when my daughter would get awards in high school, I'd watch young men, introduce people and not be able to look them in the eyes. I'd be at events and young men couldn't even look me in the eye and tell me their name. They'd look down and shake my hand. And, those things really began to affect me more and more. And so I took 5 things that I believe really helped me to become the best version of myself. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, y'all. What I am saying though is it's a journey. But I'm better than I was yesterday. So I'm the best version today than I was yesterday. But I took those 5 things that helped me to become that person. And I believe that those are the foundational pillars. I call them pillars, but the foundational corners of building a foundation.
So what are those 5 pillars, bro? Share with us. What was those written down? You said, I got to stick to this. What is
first and foremost, it's identity. you can't go anywhere without your identity. You have to know who you are. You have to own who you are, because that, like he said, that is your GPS. That's your foundation. Then we go off of values, leadership, emotional intelligence, which was huge for me, and then resilience. And all five of those together, because those entitle your character and who you are and everything about that. They're kind of like, let's say the identity is the foundation and the beginning of the house. But as you add to it, all those other five things are the pictures and the couches and the furniture that you add to the house that make a home.
That's a fact. But I think the hardest one is emotional intelligence.
It is. I'm doing research and looking at it. I realize more and more that that's one of the reasons why young men are in prison today, because they couldn't make the right decision. They made that wrong decision at the wrong time.
Somebody told me that. Like, I remember being in corporate. A young lady who was a CMO at the time. And she said something about, like, you got all the characteristics. Like, you just named all five of them. It's like, those are like infinity stones. In order to be a hero superhero, you got to get this last one, which is emotional intelligence. And I couldn't understand what the hell that meant, right? And as you get older, as you grow, as you learn, you start realizing it's what battles to fight, when to fight the battle, what to do this with, what to do that. Like, and everything, most things aren't important, right? We're just in the moment. That same shit that you said, like somebody just risked their life for 30 seconds. Wallow said that shit all the time. 20 years for 20 seconds? Shit ain't, it ain't right. So I'm curious for you, bro. With us both agreeing that that's the hardest one. What advice are we giving to these young brothers to increase their emotional intelligence? How do they practice that?
It's a long battle.
Shit, we're still fighting it.
You know, I'm still fight it every single day.
Facts.
You know, we were told as young men, I know I was, that real men don't cry. We were told to man up. We were told to be a real man. And later on in life, we were praised for being emotionless warriors, which, bottom line is, real men are not emotionless. They're actually very emotional. It's just the different lens that they show it through. We were told, don't show your wife, your emotions. Don't cry in front of her. I cry in front of my wife all the time.
Message.
That extended or grew our relationship. But when we can't manage our emotions correctly, it brings frustration to our lives, because what we do is we wear a mask, and we try to carry on through life wearing this mask, letting everybody know that everything is okay, when I'm in my office sitting here crying and breaking down because I just can't make it. So my advice to those that are having emotional struggles, I guess the best way for me to say it is to act differently than what your emotions are telling you now, until you get to that point where you know how to own your emotions and you know who you are.
That's real, bro.
Message.
I'll be honest with you, bro. What I struggle with as far as my emotions, a lot of times I don't feel shit. And sometimes I feel like that's a bad thing. Like, for instance, we went to Cannes, bro. I lost my aunt the day as we're going to Cannes. We worked tirelessly, bro. We've been doing this shit for 3 years. For the one moment to say we're on the big stage with some of the biggest people in the world. We're the podcast partner, bro. Paid for it, got a sponsor, got out of pocket. We are there. We are packed and ready to go. Just finished getting a shape up, feeling good. My aunt passed away. I'm in there in her room, bro, waiting with my aunt for the coroner to come. With my entire family, bro. Didn't even want to hit the plane.
Okay.
I go out there and got to put the mask on. I got to show up. I got to smile. I got to this. I got to take pictures. I got to fucking be on stage. I got to have the energy. But at the same time, I don't feel nothing. I don't feel nothing, bro. And I feel like I'm one of the motherfuckers that I feel like one day is just going to go. One day it's going to go. And I got to look at it myself, too, and be like, yo, damn, that was crazy. But also, I'm the same type of person that's like, I can't let shit stop me. I can't, which is a good and a bad thing.
Yeah. I see it as kind of like a humbleness that's within there. I think there's a difference between completely emotionalist and being humble. I'll use my father, for example. A couple of years ago, he passed away. And
Condolences,
I
bro.
literally did not know how to feel. I knew I was supposed to be sad, but I didn't know how to balance it in my on my own mind and say, my dad just passed away. I would always fake the cry in order to get people to understand that I'm hurting instead of actually feeling it.
Bro, that's deep. But in order to give people the context, what was the relationship with Pops? Like, well, he was, y'all was tight like that, and you said you still feel that, or is it like the Pac, like I couldn't, you know what I'm saying? What he said, like I couldn't cry, I couldn't put chairs for a stranger. Was it like that?
Our relationship was getting better over the years.
Okay.
But for me, that wasn't anything that really mattered. I mean, outside of it, I mean, one of my friends could pass away now, and I'd be very emotional. I mean, right now, I mean, bro, I'm gonna tell you, I'll cry at Andy Griffith, on TV. So I'm very in tune with my emotions now. And that's another thing that, if I was to give some advice to that, is be in tune with your emotions. Don't hide them. I mean, because that emotion is actually strength. It's meekness under control. It's not, a weakness that we think that it was, that we were told when we were kids. Carry it, do it. So if I was to say anything in your case, I mean, just be real. And if you're hurting, you're hurting. Doesn't mean you have to act like it, but be real. Be true to yourself.
That's real. But when you got the world on the show, it's hard, bro.
I get it. I get
bro.
it.
Like in that one moment, I wanted to, I would have loved to just go up and say, I don't want to do this shit. But I can't. I gotta show up and put on everything that we work for. First, it wouldn't be fair to everybody. My problem is I put everybody else before me.
Okay.
I put everybody else before me, bro. Just calling a spade, right? Like, it don't matter how I feel. I'll work 15, 16 fucking hours. I don't care. As long as we get the win, I'm cool with it. And what I'm working on in 2026 is that's no longer. That's no longer. I got to put me first. I can't sit here and do everything because I just can't do it anymore, bro. I'm burnt out. But as far as how my emotions were in that moment, I got to show up. I have to show up. This is my baby.
And see, I'm not saying don't show up. Show up. Be the best version of yourself you're going to be, but don't suppress that emotion as well. You can still be, it's not easy, believe me. You can still have, it is, and you can still have that emotion, but you can still show up. And that's something that I had to learn, something that I really began to learn more of. I mean, even now, I research it and look at it every single day. For instance, because I'm still very introverted as a person. And I had to explain it to one of my board members. I said, when you wake up in the morning, you're an extrovert. You have no coins, but every interaction, you gain more coins. So at the end of the day, you feel rich, you feel enriched, you feel great. I wake up in the morning, I have 5 coins, and each interaction takes away one of those coins. And so at the end of the day, I'm spent. I said, now let me explain this to you. When we did that big win in DeKalb in Atlanta with the board, you were like, let's go celebrate. And I asked you, I said, now, are you giving me permission to say no, or do you really want me to be there? Because for you to go celebrate, that's how you're going to recharge. That's how you celebrate. For me, that's work.
Message.
And right. I don't want to have to work. Now I can, because I realize I'm not the only person in the room. I'm not the only person alive. And sometimes I may need to show up. That's why I said you have to be in tune with your emotions as well as the other tools in your arsenal, so that if you are drained or if you don't, you can show up.
Damn, I never heard it like this, but so kudos to you, bro. Like the way you broke that down as an introvert, bro. But how do you balance that being the face of the biz, face of the organization? Like, how do you like that's tough, bro? Because they're
real talk.
They're gonna want real talk. Keep it funky with me, bro.
I'm still struggling with it every single day. I'm getting better at it every single day, sometimes I just realize that I have to show up even when I don't want to. But what I'm learning to do, let me put it that way, is how to utilize my tools so that I can recharge. Like, let's say me and you went to a gala event. I let the extrovert talk. I let the extrovert do his thing. And I may have to walk away and recharge, maybe go into the bathroom and breathe. But I always take someone with me, so that I don't feel like I'm using 100% of that coin. So like I take my brother to networking events with me. But I learned that, it wasn't something that I just figured, hey, I'm going to do it.
Do you think an introvert can go and become an extrovert? Or you think that's forced to fake? Because like if you're doing that in your business, right? You got 5 coins for the day. You're using fucking 8 a day. like how do you recharge? How can you think somebody can become that for the sake of the business, or you think that's just faking the funk?
No, I don't think it's fake because I can do it. For instance, I don't like being alone in rooms. I went to a networking event the past few months in Atlanta, and I went by myself. I realized that I can show up when I need to show up. And so how do I stretch those 5 coins to those 8 coins? I might need to walk away. I may need to go to the bathroom. I breathe a lot. When people don't even know that I'm breathing, but I'll be like, okay, I'll inhale for 4 seconds and then hold it for 7 seconds and then exhale it for 8 seconds. And it may not be the full recharge that I know. Like before I go into a space, like even before I got on here, real talk, I was listening to the theme to Wakanda on there. And I was breathing and recharging because I wear a specific ring on my right hand when it's time for me to show up. It's like it's time for me. This is just Michael. Michael's the king architect. He's a regular person for the day. But when it's time for me to show up, I slip that on and say, so this means I'm going to be the best version of myself that I could possibly be.
That's right, bro. I ain't even mad at that, bro. So I'm gonna tell the people. I know we have a lot of people who have some questions too. I'm gonna get to those, y'all. Shout out to everybody on Instagram, LinkedIn. My fault. I'm into the conversation. I'm doing everything manually, y'all. My fault. You already know. Welcome to the show on Instagram and all that. But bro, tell us what made you want to start this organization? Like, how did you get the idea for the organization? Well, like how do you guys help? Just tell the people about that. You know what I mean?
I realized that, like my tagline, kings are not born, they're built. I began to look at different cultures, like African cultures and African tribes, where young men didn't just become, men. They were trained. They went through sequences and trials and errors and became a man. Even in the Jewish, religion, they have to go through a training to become a man. It's not like today where it's just like, oh, at 18, you're a man. Go get your drink on, go do what you want to do. But I believe that's something that we've lost as a society, is the fact that we need to train these young men to be a man. Now, the question is how do you train a man to be a man and you don't even know how to be a man?
Message.
They don't have that blueprint. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I created that blueprint so that I can help young men build those things like their character and their values so that they can be the best version of themselves.
So let's. I don't want you to give us the blueprint because y'all got.
We got to pay some bills. We'll be right back.
You got to pay for the pillars, y'all. Y'all got to pay for the blueprint. We're gonna have the links and all that, but let's man to man. What do you think is what defines a man, right? Because in order for you to teach a man to be a man, you got to know you're a man yourself. What is the definition of a man to you?
All 5 of those pillars. All 5 of those pillars are structured to build that house. You have your foundation, your character. How are you going to respond and act when no one's around? Your values, the same concept. What's going to make people want to follow you as a leader? Because a leader doesn't mean it's the loudest voice in the room. It doesn't mean that it's a title or a badge that you wear that says I'm the manager. Um, and then being able to circumference it with the fact of being emotionally intelligent and emotionally resilient, and the fact of your weakness is not a weakness, but your strength is a meekness. It's humbleness. It's being quiet, and then your resilience in the fact of if you fall down, it's not when you're going to get back up, because the world is going to knock you down, but it's how are you going to get back up.
That's real, bro. But especially with resilience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has a certain tolerance or threshold for pain or whatever they consider pain. So how do we teach that, right? As far as that resiliency, right? First of all, we're resilient. We're black men in America. Let's be real. We got to fight through it. If you want to be on this path, you have to be resilient, right? So like,
Mm-hmm.
how are we teaching that, right? For me, I'm a very simple person. I don't have pillars, bro. It's take care of your family, man. Do everything you can. Try your hardest. Just do something. Do something. Choose to be him. Like for me, as long as my kids are straight, my mom's good. My mom is proud. I said something on the bars. I said the shit we used to do in the streets can leave you traumatized. Used to be
Mm-hmm.
tears, now it's joy in my mama eyes.
Yeah,
Like
actually,
that shit
yeah.
means something to me. My mom used to be calling my pops like, "Whoop his ass,
But
whoop his ass."
But see, to me, that's values, and
That's a
how
fact.
you handle and carry your values is how you're going to be resilient in that stage. I'll go back to like the
Okay,
businesses that I failed, that failed. I didn't fail them, but that failed. You
learn.
know, I was resilient and kept getting back up. Um, I didn't have that language then, but I have it now. You know, back then I just thought, okay, you fall, you get back up. You fall off the horse, you get back on the horse. You know, and that's how I was taught. But you have to base the rest of your identity to understand what those things really mean, I believe. I believe you know, I didn't really, like I said, I didn't have that language until I realized where it was coming from or why it was there. And I think when you begin to put all that together, that's when you understand your resilience. It's like, can I take another punch? Can I get back up? Can I keep moving? My daughter's going through this. How can I do this? You know, my wife is going through a hard time. How am I going to handle that? Am I going to just, you know, fall into a negative headspace and start cussing and carrying on? Or am I going to say, okay, God, I know that you walked this out before me. It was victorious. And now you're just telling me, you know, walk alongside of you and let's do it. And, you know, one thing I told the youth at the youth a little while ago was imagine God is walking alongside with you, and there's going to be potholes. But imagine yourself stepping in that pothole, but he grabs you and lifts you right up. So you didn't really go into the pothole. You saw it, you thought about it, but it really didn't happen. And that's the concept of our faith.
Message.
Being just the best version of ourselves.
That's real shit, bro. And I always feel when you say that, I'm not very religious, bro. I'm a very spiritual brother.
Mhm.
Very spiritual brother. I feel like, and if you're on the journey too, put it in the comments. Y'all let us know. I know for me personally, every time I felt like I wanted to quit, there's always one thing that happens that show you to keep fucking going when you're on the right path.
Mm-hmm.
When you're on the right path, there's going to be one
Mm-hmm.
sign that tell you to keep going. So before I even get into the story, I want to tell you a story, bro. But I do want to know, what was that moment for you when you felt like you was going to quit, when you was going to fucking crash out? What was that moment for you? And you was like, now I'm this.
Um, to be honest with you, every day, if I was just to go look at
I'm
it,
about to
I
crash out
want
every
to.
day.
I'm not gonna
That's
lie.
real. That's
I
too
mean,
real. That's
if
too
that
real.
was the case, I would want to. Um, but what keeps me going is I know that this is my mission, that this is my assignment. Um, you know, I understand that, you know, manhood is intentional. And with the way that the world is today, we've watched so many fall short of what manhood really is. You know, we don't look at the way that manhood was really created. Um, you know, how a married couple gets together as the man has these values and this concept of being a man and a woman, and they come together and they become one team. They complement one another. We're too busy trying um, to compete with one another. And so I'm going on a rabbit trail as I as I as I began to, you know, understand that, that made me push farther because I saw how young men just were battling more. They were going through some of the same silent killers and struggles that I was going through as a kid. Maybe not, you know, with the brain injury and all that other stuff that exemplified my issues a lot, but these young men just don't have a blueprint. They didn't have someone going in there, and we don't have the mentors that we have now. I had mentors growing up, but we don't have, there's so many fatherless homes right now where the fathers aren't even at home, or the father is at home, but he doesn't even know what it means to be a man. And so all he's telling him is what he knows or what he learned from his parents, and is brought down from generation to generation. And I'll be honest, I think that
that's facts.
We're going to be in a lot of trouble if men don't begin being the men that they're supposed to be. Because the next generation is going to be in trouble.
You hit the nail on the head, though, bro. One thing that's separate is the mentorship. Mm-hmm. You had that early, bro. I'm going to keep it all the way being with you, bro. I didn't get a mentor until I was 30.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get a mentor. I'm 38. I'm about to be 38 this year, bro. I didn't get a mentor until I was 30 years old. So when I came into this industry, bro, I had long braids down my back. I'm sitting there wearing baggy pants like I'm in Catholic school, Pradas and shit. I'm like, yeah, I know I'm flea. They're looking at me like, this motherfucker, he's crazy. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have a mentor, at least to tell me how to dress, how to congregate, how to be at the lunch table with the other, how to be a team-oriented person, how to do all of that, how to take my experiences and make sure I relate to everybody. You just have to learn that. Like, we don't have mentors. The mentors that we have wouldn't know what we're doing in this space right now. The people I see growing up wouldn't know too about what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And sometimes the wrong mentor and looking at that and thinking, yo, that's dope, cool, is end up going to be more detrimental than not having a mentor at all. So it's like, how do we identify these good mentors? Like, what do we do? I want to look at the dude who's getting the bread. That's what I looked at. I looked at my brother. I looked at people on the block that was getting the bread.
Yeah.
I'll blend it.
Yeah.
I wanted to be AZ and Rico from Paid in Full. And then I was like, I can't do that. Mm-hmm. That ain't working. Mama's crying. She don't like it. He whooping my ass. I don't like it. So like, what can I do, bro? So that's a lot of us in our community, at least where I come from, bro. That's what we look up to. Yeah. So how do we identify these mentors? How do we step outside of that comfort zone to identify a right mentor, especially one that looks like us?
And, you know, again, I didn't know back in the day. I realize now that God had his hand on my life that whole entire time. I had my son when I was in my 20s, and I wasn't married at the time, early 20s.
I had mine at 20.
My mom was like, we're Fikes, so we take care of our own. And so I adopted my son when he was 3 months old, and I've been raising him ever since. But through that time, all my friends were older men and Black men, very, very successful, strong Black men. Shout out to Rod Greer, Daryl Jones. And even though they didn't step out to say, I'm going to be your mentor, the knowledge that they transferred over was huge. I remember Daryl one day telling me in my early 20s, you know, that he's like, you are one of the best fathers I'd ever seen, you know, just your kid and all this other stuff. And, you know, we don't have enough of those. We don't have, you know, we are afraid to say, I love you, bruh. You know, how many fathers don't say that to their sons, but their sons literally need to hear that, you know? And so that's why I began to say, you know, hey, we need something that these young men need. and I began to, you know, play on that concept and tell other people about what my heart was. And then after I could hear, them say, man, we need that program. We need something like that. They need that here. We really need that. Um, it began to press on me more. I'm not the sequential guy. I'm not the necessary. Let's sit down and I'll mentor you. I will talk to you if you need me to. Um, I'm more of the foundational guy, and so I'll give you the pillars to build the house, but I can't hold your hand as you do it. But we can break bread. If God tells me we can break bread, and say, okay, you're struggling with this. Let's talk. This is how this is going to help you in your what other decision could you have made versus your character that would have turned this out differently. That's your emotional intelligence, making that right decision, not driving off of your first emotion. Um, and so
Right.
the heart is to build that team, to be the mentors and the coaches that are needed. But by no means am I against, saying, hey, what are you struggling with? We need to talk. Because I know that need is out there. That's why Boys to Men was created.
That's real talk, bro. I got to ask you a business question now. Was there anything because of Boys to Men, the group, and Boys to Men, the foundation? Was there anything overlap with that?
Yeah, it was. That's why I use the name Foundation.
Okay.
Because Boys to Men was a singing group, and then in order for me to use that name, it was going to be like tens to thousands of dollars, and I'm not doing that. Nor did I have that in my account at the time. But Boys to Men Foundation, after going through numerous names, sounded good. In the concept of saying I don't just want a normal organization, but I actually want a foundation. So by what people see, by the name foundation, they see other things, but I saw the structure. I saw the foundation. I saw where the house is built on, because if the foundation is let's say you put one wrong ingredient on it in it, it's unstable.
It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. But I don't want to get too granular because I like how do you know you have a solid fan? Like even when you go through the values, you could think you're doing all. You could think you have emotion intelligence. You could think you're resilient. You could think you have all this. You think you have good values. You could think you're a fucking good character and not be any of those things. So how do you differentiate? How do you know? Like what is that thing that makes you know, bro, that I am this? Or how do we articulate that to our young brothers?
How did I think I'm still trying to figure that concept out on how to articulate it, because I can't just tell everybody, because not everybody believes like I do. But
Real talk.
I just knew, in my spirit that it was something that was needed. I think it was after a lot of, trial and error, talking to people about my organization, seeing the interest and the excitement for that organization. Matter of fact, I was talking to a lady yesterday, and she was talking about my foundation and how much it's truly needed and how she's praying for me. I got people on LinkedIn that I never knew talking about, I'm praying for you, because the struggle is real and not everybody is going to like you nor accept you. There are people praying against you already and don't even know who you are. And that's probably why I like one of D1 songs really well. He sings Enemy, and he talks about there's the frenemies, there's the ones that know you, then there's the ones that don't even know you. And then he's like, then there's me, my own face. And that's how you have to differentiate that, because sometimes we can be our worst judge. I can look in the mirror and be mad, but I got to change that. And that's the first thing I begin to understand, is when I wake up in the morning, you could be like, today's going to be a bad day, but that's up to you. That's your mentality. Is it going to be a bad day, or is it going to be a bad moment? So that's where I begin to realize that that's my choice. That's how I decide. And if I'm going to, that doesn't mean it's going to completely turn around, but it changes my mindset to be okay. Because, I go through those days, and It may be a rough day, but that doesn't mean that it has to stay that way.
That's right. Message. That's the hardest thing to do, bro. I ain't gonna front. I gotta use the bathroom real quick, bro. I do want to get you a monologue, so I'm gonna give you an ISO. You're gonna ISO in the audience, bro. Can you tell the people about the organization? Tell the people where they can find you. Just tell them just everything and how they support, bro. And I got some follow-up questions. Give me 1 second, bro. But
okay, not a problem. Not a problem. My name is Michael Samuels. I'm the executive director of Boyz II Men Foundation. Our philosophy is our process is we give young men or equip young men with the tools that are needed so that they can become the leaders, the fathers, the husbands that are needed today in today's world. I have a website. It's www.b2mf.org. Boy to Mary Frank, Boyz II Men Foundation.org. I'm trying to get on social media a little bit more. I'm not the social media person, but my Instagram is at Boyz II Men Foundation. And our company number is 720-603-3701.
Let's get it. So tell us, what's one story that stands out to you? What's one success story from Boyz II Men? What is one that was like, damn, I didn't think we cracked through to this kid, but we got him? Names are none, but I would love to just hear that story.
I was doing a keynote at a school a couple of months ago. And it's what's the word I'm looking for? Because it's not just young men, but also they're all struggling. They're not succeeding in school, and I don't know why it's on my tongue, but I can't get it. I can't pronounce it. But he was sitting there. He was really docile. He was quiet. Didn't really seem like he was, interested. Matter of fact, he had said that the reason I'm here is because they made me come here. But by the end of my keynote, he was engaged. He was asking questions. He was, well, how do I do that? Or, wow, this is what I want to do in life. And so I was actually able to get him to respond. He was one, it happens a lot, but he was probably one of the main ones. Both two kids. It was a black kid and a white kid. I don't just push it out towards one race or because they all need those 5 pillars, but I have a heart for my people.
Yeah, for everybody, but not for anybody.
Yeah.
For everybody, but you got to have a mindset to walk through the door and come through and make sure, that you got the right mindset. At the end of the day, people come in. If you don't understand the pillars, you ain't putting in the work. You're like, oh, this was a scam. This is bullshit. Because you ain't putting in the work, you ain't get the result. Doesn't mean
now
it's
you
bullshit.
See why I can't hold your hand as we go through it, because you have to put in some work. I can tell you what to do. It's like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Absolutely. And what's the hardest thing? I'm assuming it's a nonprofit, right? Or
it is a nonprofit.
What is the most difficult challenge when starting a nonprofit, bro?
Money.
And why start a nonprofit versus a for-profit? Because you could have did Boyz II Men and still profit.
Because I did a lot of research, and I have 2 businesses actually. I have a for-profit and a nonprofit. So everything that I do primarily is through my for-profit, but my workshops, the seminars, the book that I'm writing literally called The Blueprint Experience, my clothing line, those things are missional, so they are directly for the nonprofit. If I travel, if I buy office supplies per se, anything, it's all through the for-profit because they're perfectly aligned. So if I go do a keynote, I'm talking about Boyz II Men. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Identity Shift. My other business is is the gas, and Boys to Men Foundation is the car.
Got it. Now makes sense, bro. So for the boys, actually, I got mad questions for you, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. Because
You got me out.
You got a lot
Whatever
of
you
shit.
need.
I love it, bro. Like, so all right, where do I want to go with this, right? So you've got a lot of different things. I'm trying to think where do I want to go, bro? Like, because it's mad there. I want to ask you about your relationship. I want to ask you about how you parent your kids. Like, how do we make sure that they have the foundational? Now, let's do that. You had a kid early. How do you make sure they have the foundational pillars, bro? Because our kids are the hardest.
Yeah.
I can tell somebody else will look at me differently. If I was to get the same more than title game to any other kid right there, like I've done it many times. And they're like, oh my God, that shit is fire. I come tell my kid, that's cool, Dad. That's all right. That's all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all right. I feel you. Because I'm
Honestly,
Dad.
The best way that I can say that I parent them is to be an example.
That's it. Messaging and movements.
They see me, they see me and they see me not stressing out. They see me, working on my craft and trying to be the best version of myself. And I think that that's the best way any parent can parent, because what people don't necessarily learn by what's taught, they learn by what's caught.
Message.
That's a bar. Almost was late on that one. But
Wow.
all the time is message and move. But that's something I also want to give to our young Black brothers and sisters, right? Sometimes you don't need a mentor. Sometimes it's who you're watching, who you're looking at, who you're taking time to spend about how they're moving. And I literally put this clip out today, bro. Like we come from the block, bro. We've had millionaires, we've had billionaires on the show. We literally had a billionaire on the show 2 years ago, bro. Go to the crib, chill, brought us into a meeting.
I think I saw that one.
Didn't say nothing. I literally just put it up today. Didn't say nothing until it was in
Yeah.
And it was like, what was the lesson? The lesson was he want to know what I think is important, if that shit is really makes sense, right? So like, whatever you want to be, I don't care if you want to be a rapper, journalist, anything you want to be, you got to look at what success look like and what are they moving and how are they moving in order to get to that success. And then you got to implement your own thing, straight up and down. Like, we have to do it. So for us in our community, there's a lot of examples of what that is. If we got time to be on Shade Room and this one and that one and that one, it's all these other things. We got all the time for social media. You know exactly what happened with Blueface and Christian. But you can't tell me what's happening in your own home, then you get a problem. Like, straight up and down.
So let me ask you a question then.
What's up, broski?
Why can't those specific things be those mentors? I see them as both negative and positive. Social media can be a negative mentor. But the books that you read, the people on your podcast, things that you didn't know that you've learned, absolutely. Maybe unintentionally they're not your mentor and say, I'm going to mentor you, but the word mentor literally means to teach. And so outside of that, they're teaching you something, you're growing from it and moving to the next step. So it may be an inadvertent lesson for you, but you're still doing it.
No, I agree with you 100%, but it's just like a camera. It all depends on what lens you have.
Exactly. I
get that, bro. Like, if I want to do a close-up shot, I got this motherfucking thing that does that. I want this, that do that. Is what lens are we looking at it at?
But it's how you use it. Exactly. And that's how you look at it. It's the lens. So the books that I've read, I hate reading, but I read anyway. But the books that I read, the podcast, I watch my brother's podcast every time he drops something, because it's the knowledge that comes through those guys. I use those to empower me to move forward, because I'm looking for that next stage mentor in my life. But I've also learned that when it's necessary and it's time, that person will show up. But maybe that person is inadvertently that book that I'm reading, that person that I'm listening to, because I don't listen to junk. I don't watch social media and what do they call it, Zoom scrolling for hours on end, because they'll show you being on the mountaintop, but they won't show you the climb.
And they'll never show you the fall off either.
Exactly.
Message.
And they'll never show you the fall off. But that's
exactly
what lens you're looking at it, right? I look at everything as this, like, and that's also I would love to, because you also said something about social media, bro. Like, one thing I would give to you, and you already see it from your brother's pocket, you see it from this show, bro. It would be really dope to have some of the kids from the organization and just have this real ass talk like we having right now. Just do it, bro. I know you're an introvert, but it'd be really good to see it in real time, to see what these kids are looking. And guess what? Like, as long as you get the parental consent, like, they want to know what their kids are thinking.
I'm working on it. Working on it.
But just keep going, bro. Like, keep doing that. Like, social media, bro. One thing I learned in social media, the best thing to be out there, and it could be a gift and a curse. But when we started this podcast, bro, I was on LinkedIn, I had 20 followers. You know what I said, bro? I looked at the marketplace, and this is a gem for anybody. Looked at the marketplace. I go on LinkedIn. There's nobody that look like me. I saw your brother. I saw like 5 people. 5 people out of all of LinkedIn, 720 million users. 5 of us. Nobody did anything. No anything. You know what I did, bro? I was like, all right, who knows marketing? Who knows business? Who knows all of the content that I know? I can sit on the couch, do all of this shit, and still drink a beer and actually talk some real shit.
Well, look at LinkedIn now. I mean,
it's
my page on LinkedIn is inundated with African American success. You know, that's like, and it's probably because of the algorithm and the people that I follow, like my brother and some of the other things. So they're highlighting the things that I want to see. But I have so much more success on LinkedIn because I put it this way: the people that I necessarily want to speak to are not on social media.
Message.
But I think they are. They just react differently. Same thing. The same billionaire example I had, I see him on social media maybe twice a month.
Yeah, I buy that.
In there scrolling. If you think he's not sitting there scrolling to see what's up, he is, bro. But it's what is going to catch that man's attention, bro. I put a post on LinkedIn. People tell you it's professional. I put up a medium rare steak on LinkedIn and got the CEO of Stars Entertainment to like it. I don't know why I put a steak up. I was hungry. The shit looked good. I put it up. I don't know what I put it up. I was on my content shit. Like, everything is content. I'm like, yo, if I'm eating a steak, that's what it is. Ow, up there, 37 likes out of one of the 37 likes is the CEO of Stars, bro. And we're sitting there having a conversation in the DM. I'm like, yo, what's up? He just happened to be at a steakhouse.
Wow.
Happened to be at a steakhouse. Seeing a steak on his LinkedIn.
Scrolling,
bro.
I accept that. I accept that.
It's for rolling power. I didn't get it, but I damn sure shot the shot.
and that, I mean, what did they say? You mean what do you say? You miss 100 more shots that you don't take, or something like that. And so it's,
shoot them things.
Take your shot.
Shoot, it don't matter. Like, I get, first of all, and I hate this shit, and I want to, let's stop this for 2026. Stop coming to me in the streets and saying, yo, I love what you're doing, but you don't like it. That is mad weird to me. I'm gonna start calling y'all, but I gotta be mad, like, humble enough. Yo, that's mad. You saw the that post you put up today. But then why the fuck I got 8 likes? You wasn't one of them. So, like,
truth.
Our own, then your algorithm will change, and then you'll make something happen. I've literally seen people put up posts. We've had people on the show, and they'll be on another joint, and they'll post that one, and I'm your man's. I'm like, yo, bro, we just had that. I literally posted that clip, and you posting the Golden Era Hip Hop Stories page. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I think it was, who was it? I think it was Mark Cuban that said, most of the people that like your stuff or follow you on Instagram aren't the ones that like your stuff.
That's it.
Because they already did, and that was huge. I mean, so like I said, maybe he's not mentoring me intentionally, but I got something out of that bar.
Message.
I'm learning and I'm growing. So I accept that challenge on the Instagram. I'm with the kids and stuff and the social media.
Or even just be yourself. I literally, when my career took off, it's because I was the person on the couch sitting Indian style with a hat and a hoodie.
See, that's me.
I'm sitting there with a hoodie on, full hood on, sitting there like, yo, marketing this, da 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 da. But you're talking that, like, why does it have to be that way? So for you, somebody like you, especially in a network that you have, bro, just be you. How do you? It's like you just said you was married, bro. You said you was married for like 20 years or something, right?
Yes, sir.
Congratulations, my brother.
Thank you.
What advice? I would love that because we always talk about the bickering and the data. We don't want to get too crazy in the family. How do you sustain a 20-year relationship with your wife? What are some of the things that you want to do? You know what it is. You said it's competition. They don't like us. They don't like me. No. It's too much of that shit. And you're married for 20 years, and we need more of that in the community. What advice would you give to be that?
I won't say, it's something that just it was ordained, because marriage is not ordained. It's a journey. And I think until you understand who you are, that it's really not going to be the success that you think it is. And I'm not saying it's perfect. We go through challenges every week, every day. But it's the growth, and because you're pairing two imperfect people, because if I wanted to marry myself, then I shouldn't have got married. So I'm married to someone who is completely different, 100% different than I am. And now you're trying to pair it together to become that one unit, that one person. And so all I can say is, is for a successful marriage is it's brick by brick and don't quit.
Message.
Quit. And just like you nailed it. You have to know yourself. It's self-awareness. Knowing where you are in that station of life, bro. Knowing where you are in that and just being completely honest. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm with my lady right now 3 years. I know we're gonna get married. We're gonna do all that stuff. When you know. But I also have to work on myself because I was always dipping and dabbing, doing this, doing that, and not being real. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're real with yourself and you're real with your partner, there is no confusion. We might have been together 3 years. We've had one argument. We have a mission. We know what it is. We connected like glue, and that's just what it is. So I commend you, bro. But it's a fight every single day.
Every single day. I don't always get it right, and sometimes we be mad, but coming back together, just to who's gonna say sorry, who's not. But today people are so willing to quit. They want to quit. They don't like it. They want to quit. They want to move on. That's life. Life isn't fair. Life, don't quit. Keep on going. That's your resilience. Keep on stepping.
That's real, bro. And one of my last questions, bro, I gotta ask you, man. At this stage in life, in this station in life, what do you define as success in this moment, and what does the mountaintop look like for you, bro?
Success for me. That's a loaded question, because I'll try to break it down into because it's not, people would classify success as, let's say, having a big house, having a big car, being a success. I think success for me, and I'll just be plain, is fulfilling the mission, fulfilling my assignment, and rebuilding the pillar that's broken where manhood is broken. That's success, having a successful or a happy family. So I think there's layers in success, not just one simple layer. I think the problem is that people equate success with one thing, and that one thing on success is going to benefit everybody else in the picture. And that's not true, because my success is different than my wife's success. But I believe that me, intertwining and loving on her and her success to make her the best version of herself and to reach her success, I believe that's a success.
Message.
And what does the mountaintop look like for you, bro? Like, so because when you say you're fulfilling the mission, there's no, like, what I'm saying? Unless it's I'm a sales guy. I need a KPI. I need something.
I get it. I need
a KPI on it. Like, is it these many people at impact? Like, so what does the mountaintop look like for you when you could be like, yo, you know what? I'm going to hand it off to the team, man. I'm going to go into the sunset with wifey, my kids. I'm going to chill. What does that look like?
When Boys to Men Foundation is doing what it's supposed to do without the extra stress and the extra frustration. When Boys to Men Foundation is a go-to and not an afterthought. When it's just flowing seamlessly, where, like I said, when they're like we're the first call, where let's say a school says, I know exactly who we need to have in the school. We're gonna call Michael. Because I will never let this mission go unless I'm physically unable to. And when I say physically unable to, I'm talking about 6 feet deep. But at that point, I'm gonna pass it on, and but I want it to be a continuous foundation, continuously moving, an organic, continuous moving foundation that, and I think that would be my mountaintop.
That's real, bro. And I commend you for it, bro. And we're gonna talk off camera, but I do want to tell you now, bro, you are part of the family. You're part of the More Than the Title family. I'm gonna give you a clap afterwards, but I want to be real with you, bro, because I really enjoyed this conversation.
Me too.
What that entails, bro, is you have a brother here. You have another brother here, bro. If there's anything you need, because I was gonna ask you on camera, but I don't want to put that much pressure. Like, yo, how can we help you? We're gonna talk off camera and figure it out. My mom's assistant principal. We got connections in the New York City school system, all that stuff, bro. Like, we're in that. We know how to get to become a vendor. We know we're plugged in. So let's figure something out, how we can make More Than Title Boys to Men come together. What kind of content can we curate for these young men and these young sisters? What can we do to really impact them and really show them, right? Because we're from two different spectrums, but we're the same. Yeah. So I would love to do that with you, bro. But I want to let you know, anybody we've had on the show before you or after you've got access to. It's not even a question. Same way we text all day, bro. Just be like, yo, I saw bro on the show Tuesday. It's an introduction.
Thank you. That means a lot,
bro. I promise you. I set up a group chat. Y'all talk. We introduce. Yo, Mike, this is this one. This is Mike. I get off the call.
That means a lot.
Get off the call. I don't care what it is. And to the detriment of me sometimes. I've seen 6-figure deals happen. I'm keeping it real. It's not it's not a good business proposition. But I do it for the impact because you're giving me your time.
Wow. I appreciate that.
You can be with your wife right now, but you came to my show and was like, yo, I'm going to rock with Jarrett, bro. You see me with your brother.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
And that shit means something to me. So with that being said, bro, welcome to the family. And I want to see you win. Keep fighting a good fight, bro. And I love what you're doing, man. Any way we can help, you already know we on deck, bro. So I just want to say, man, real talk, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Now you better.
Because I'm going to keep it all the way. I told you off camera. Your brother was one of the people that made me, and I told him this too, bro. He made me want to shoot shots at people that look like us. Imagine if I'd have went and I told you I'm sitting right here, and I go shoot a video, and he's a C-suite level of Revolt, maybe 2 steps or 1 step removed from the actual chairman, Diddy. And I go in there, make a video, and he responds. Didn't know me from nothing.
Didn't know you from Adam.
Didn't know me from Adam.
That's what I love about my brother, the character and the humbleness that he has within him. And I hear it all the time, people saying how humble he really is. With his stature and status, you would think that he's, having 6 bodyguards pulling out of a Lincoln Continental, and saying, look, but no, he's like,
bro,
I put on my pants 2 legs at a time, just like everybody else.
Bro, if you need a bodyguard, don't be coming to Black Week next time with no bodyguard. I'm sitting there.
Well,
bro,
he's got me. I was a cop for 7 years in Denver, Colorado.
Oh, fire, bro. Like every time I see him, he's dolo. Word to mother. Every time I see him, he's dolo. He shows his love, man. And we got so many mutual friends. But like I said, that was a pivotal moment for me, bro. I was working in an SEO shop. I didn't even own the podcast.
Okay.
I'm a worker working at a company, and I'm shooting a shot, and I see a brother that looked like me that's working for a company that I love, and I'm like, yo, can you just talk? Just I want to get to know you, bro. Like, how do you get there? I want to get there. Gave me an hour. On the day he became CEO, So what I said, and look at what we've done after, bro. We've had Beyonce's pops, we've had Matthew Knowles, we have Greg Oden. We was the only podcast to be in Rohan Marley's house. We did so many billboards in Times Square, bro. Sitting Indian style on the couch, bro.
And all that by just taking your shot.
By taking your shot, bro. So that's the message I want to give to you, give to all of our listeners. But we also have to have people like your brother and people like us to make sure that we connect in real time, man. So with that being said, you already know what it is, man. This brother came here, gave us the real. He told us right after episode 250. How real is that? Had his brother on episode 250. Had Big Mike on in 259. And you were just, like I said, just your energy. I'm an energy person.
Thank you.
You could have been bro's third cousin, and you'd have came through. Because it was just like, I didn't even connect the dots. I didn't find out you was his brother until today. I'm just keeping it a bean. It was the way you reached out. It was the way you reached out, the way you articulated, the support you showed, the love you showed. You know when something is real or fake. You know it. Your purpose is GPS. So thank you for doing that, bro. Thank you for the support, because it came in a moment when I really needed that shit.
Thank you.
So I'm just going to say thank you, bro. You got a brother, man. We proud of you. And we rocking, man. More than title, Boyz the Men. And y'all heard what it is, man. This brother, first of all, his brother had a shoulder injury at 3 years old. Didn't let that shit stop him. Found out he had dyslexia, self-awareness, knew he wasn't learning, but guess what? That shit don't stop. I'm going to build a company. I'm going to be a good big brother. I'm going to fail. I'm going to go through the fire to make sure that my family still has the opportunities they have. I'm going to build an organization for my community based on these pillars, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to take time out of my life. I'm doing a for-profit thing. I could be getting rent. I could be doing a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Sacrificing for the community, bro. And that's what we're going to do. And that's what this shit is about. It's about championing the people who don't get championed.
Amen.
You should be championed, and we're going to champion you every single day, man. So we love you, bro. We appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Everybody tuned in. We love y'all, man. Shout out to Instagram, Twitter. Sorry, I'm a little slow on the comments. When the conversation good, I can't be fucking texting y'all. I'm sorry. But put it on YouTube, and I can pop it up, and we can talk. Don't go on Instagram. Go on YouTube. Say this shit 1,000 times, but y'all know what it is. We got a great lineup for y'all, just like this episode. Tuesday, we got Simon Severino. He's an award-winning book author. He's sold $7 million in deals in business. We got negotiator Derek Chapelier on Thursday. Then we got Joy Allen Altamir, who's the CMO of Saucony, coming on that extra. Okay. Then we got some shit lined up, man. We got Mark Emerson, we got Jabari Hearn, we got some shit, man. I just want to say
awesome.
Thank you for all the people that's rocking with us, man. Thank you for the people that's making this thing go. And we're gonna do what we do, man. Bro, thank you. Because this episode 59 was a motherfucking classic, and we're gonna
truly enjoyed it.
And that's it.
Was fire.
One time before you go, bro, let them know where to reach out to you. Make sure they connect with you. Joining late, just in case they join in late.
You can reach me on my website, which is www.b2mf.org. Probably the best way outside of everything is email, which would be info@b2mf.org. Or, reach through the podcast, and they know how to get in touch with me, definitely. Or you can reach me on Instagram at Boyz II Men Foundation.
There you go, man. With that being said, man, this brother is the real. Give him grace. Make sure he celebrate him, champion. He's for the community. And with that being said, this is episode 259 with my brother Michael Samuels, my brother PD. And we out here. We're going to see you Tuesday. Everybody be safe in New York. It's going to be 28 inches of snow out this month. Be safe. Be careful. And I also, matter of fact, before I go, I also want to say happy birthday to my grandmother, Marie Reyes.
Happy birthday.
I love you.
Happy birthday.
I'm about to put my clothes on right now, go right to mom's house, go see grandma, blow the candle outdoor light, sing happy birthday. And then the day after is my baby's birthday. Mika. So I want to say, I love you, baby. I'm going to say it on camera. I love you. Thank you for being a part of my life. Thank you for holding me down. Thank you for being a rider. Thank you for being my support system. When I'm down and out, thank you for just being there for me. And I fucking love you to death. All right? And I just want to say that shit.
Happy birthday.
I love you. You know what I'm saying? That's my baby. This is my dog. And we're going to make this thing happen. Episode 259. More than the title, man. We're going to see y'all on Tuesday, man. Make it happen, y'all. We're going to see y'all. What you know about me?
what you know about me. I done it all, just want it all.